হ্যাঁ, আমি করেছি। হ্যাঁ।
আচ্ছা, ঠিক আছে। ঠিক আছে, থ্যাংক ইউ। Chandima, good evening.
সব দিয়েছি, পেঁয়াজ লঙ্কা
সব কিছু
হ্যাঁ।
Sir, Bodhi Suddhaanandaa ji has joined the session also along with Dr. Chandima Banerjee.
Chandima, good evening.
Good evening, Amitabh. Very good evening. Good evening to all of you.
And has Dr. Kanga joined?
I don't think so yet. Anirban, you may please check. He said he will join a little later.
Yeah, he said he'll join by 6:45.
Yeah. He has a session, so he will join a little later.
This session is from 7.
Okay, so we'll start at 6.
We'll start sharp at 6 minutes.
Yes,
Start off with the inauguration.
Yeah, Anirban, you start the session then.
And I'll hand it over to you.
Yeah, sure. Thanks, Anirban.
Thank you.
Do we start now or?
Amitabh, let's start at 6 o'clock. We said from.
Okay.
Let's start at 6.
Yeah. Okay.
Couple of minutes more.
Okay.
Dr. Banerjee, could I request you to kindly start your camera, and may I request Bodhi Suddhaanandaa also to kindly start your camera so that we'll start sharp at 6. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, sir. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We welcome you all to this event. This is the CMA's webinar on calming self for success. Before we start the event, I'll take the permission of the President of Calcutta Management Association, Mr. Amitabh Datto, Executive Committee Member of CMA, Dr. Chondima Banerjee, and Bodhi Suddhaanandaa. Can we start the event, sir? Are you all ready? Can we start it now?
Yeah.
Just checking all the mics also.
Yeah, most certainly, Anirban. It's fine.
Thank you. So welcome, ladies and gentlemen. I would like to request Dr. Chondima Banerjee, who is an Executive Committee Member of Calcutta Management Association and a long-standing life member of Calcutta Management Association, to kindly take this session forward. And we welcome amongst us Bodhi Suddhaanandaa. Thank you, sir. Thank you for taking time out of your position. Ma'am, it's up to you.
Thank you so much, Anirban. Thank you. Thank you for this opportunity. I welcome all of you on behalf of our beloved President, Mr. Amitabh Datta, and on behalf of each and every committee member, executive committee member, it's my proud privilege to welcome all of you to this session. Welcome, and a very good evening to all of you. Usually in CMA, we usually organize very different kind of programs on management, economics, leadership, business, and so on and so forth. But, all of us felt that it's time to organize a program like this, and which is essentially about calming self, which is the need of the hour, which goes without saying, and we all know what we are going through. When we conceived the program, we titled this program as Calming Self for Success. But considering what we are going through today, I think just calming self is good enough. If we can sort of calm ourselves, it will be really good for our physical and mental well-being. Since childhood, we are all taught, how to take care of our body, physical body. If you have a headache, you have a body ache, if you have a stomach ache, just have some pills, go to doctor, some home remedies, and so on and so forth. But we have hardly been trained, to how to take care of our mind. Okay, and we all know how it creates a havoc on us. We have all experienced that. But somehow it has been a taboo in the society. And whenever somebody says, I'm feeling low, I'm feeling anxious, I'm feeling panicky, somebody will come and a tough guy will come and say, oh, you just be brave, just be brave. Everything will be fine. But we know that it doesn't become fine just like that, We must know how to take care of your mind. We know that it creates a havoc on us. Every time we feel low, we feel panicky, we feel stressed. So the connection between body and mind has been, now we all know about it, okay? And beyond doubt, it has been proved that most of the diseases which we have are actually rooted in our mind. These are psychosomatic in nature, okay? So it's time we must know how to take care of ourselves. And, the kind of a difficult time which we are going through today, for this pandemic situation, what we are going through, we are all very, very anxious, we are depressed, we are stressed, we are really panicking about the future. I think it's the right time, and every time is the right time to take care of mind. All the more today, we must know how to take care of our mind. As wise men say, all in mind. We have heard enough and more times everybody saying, all wise people saying, all in mind. And we must know how to manage our mind. Today, we are extremely fortunate to have two great experts and two great prolific speakers with us. Suddhaanandaa Brahmachari ji with us, and then Narendra Kanga, who will come in the second half. Suddhaanandaa Brahmachari ji, whom we fondly call Bodhi, he has over 50 years of experience practicing mindfulness, meditation, stress reduction, and he has helped so many corporates and individuals going through the journey. Coming to Narendra Kanga, he has also done decades of very rich experience to helping people to take care of their mental health. We are extremely privileged to have both of them today with us to take us through. The first half, Bodhi will take us through. He will share his views with us. And then around 7 o'clock, Narendra ji will come and he will take us through his session. And both of them have said that you feel free to ask questions. Both of them will encourage that. Please write in the chat box. I will try to take up as many questions as possible, and our esteemed speakers will answer that. And Narendra Kanga has requested one more thing. If possible, you can keep a piece of pen and paper with you. Possibly he will take us through some kind of exercise. With that, I would like to formally introduce Suddhaanandaa Brahmachari ji, whom we fondly call Bodhi. He is a globally acclaimed motivational and life management teacher specializing in mindfulness, meditation, and stress reduction, which he has studied and practiced for more than 50 years. He is also an author and visionary social advocate. His programs in India serve thousands of poverty-stricken individuals with education, healthcare, and microcredit self-help. His course in mindfulness program has been well received globally by corporates, universities, and social service agencies in India, UK, Sweden, Germany, Australia, Mexico, USA, Canada, and so on and so forth. He has presented in seminars, he has presented his papers at many international and national and international conferences. He was awarded the Lifetime Achievement Award by the Star Foundation UK in 2015. We are really fortunate to have Bodhi with us. Welcome to you once again, Bodhi, and over to you.
Thank you so much, Chandrima, and thank you so much, Amitabh Dattaji, and all the office bearers and members of CMA. It's indeed such a wonderful privilege. I deem it a divine blessings upon me that I could be available to all of you this beautiful evening at a time when, as Chandrima rightly said, the need for calming the mind is utmost with each one of us. I think it is unprecedented in the history of humanity that globally we would face this kind of a huge pandemic, and then it was not enough for the first time when it came. Possibly we somehow win over it, and then when we were almost a little relaxed, we were almost a little, passive about everything, then came the second wave. And obviously you all know how severe, how bad it is all over. And no wonder it is so difficult at this time to maintain poise and calm in our mind when most of our loved ones and friends, we keep on hearing from all around news of their being identified as positive or going through some real battle of life. So I truly believe that this is absolutely the perfect time for each one of us to dwell deeper in order to find some solutions which we should consider as not just solutions coming from the superficial part of our mind, or rather the intellectual understanding, but I would definitely say it is time for each one of us to dwell deeper in order to find exactly from where comes all agitations of our life, distractions of our life, fear and anxieties of our life. We need to find the root of it all and possibly address right at the root so that we really can gradually feel the change happening in each one of us from inside out. The most important word that I would once again repeat is the change that should come from inside out. I'm really charmed by this particular topic today, calming the mind. And when I was thinking about it, I suddenly, it came into my mind about an old Zen story, and I'm sure all of you will appreciate this story if I share with you quickly. And it's about a horse and a man. The horse is galloping through a village, and the man on the back, he's also riding, but he's going on a very important mission, but he's just there. And someone by the side of the road, they just ask, "Hey, where are you going?" And this man on the horse, he says, I don't know. Please ask the horse. This is really the story of all of us. Most of us are all riding a horse. And that horse is such a horse that it is galloping and it is just going without knowing the right direction where it is leading to. And most of us, we do not know the horse that we all are riding is our own conditioned, pre-programmed digital mind. It is this mind which is continuously taking us. And most of us are not very sure. It's almost like a sailor who is in a boat, who is possibly voyaging for a journey, but doesn't have a compass, doesn't know the exact north. So it's something which is so very important for all of us today to dwell deeper, to find out what makes it like this, that we all are behaving like this, why we are caught up with this particular habitual pattern of our mind for continuously repeating the same repetitive rut of our day-to-day life, and why, knowing fully well certain changes, if we could incorporate into our life, if we could bring certain changes of our sedentary lifestyles and go into a very practical, self-loving lifestyle, what a wonder it could all be. But still we all know that we are at times completely helpless, because we have at times feeling ourselves powerless over this particular mind of ours, this horse, which is basically untamed, uncontrolled, and it is so difficult to tame it, to control it, and bring it within our own bounds as we wish it. So here is a session for all of us to possibly not only intellectually understand the whole thing, because we already in this particular generation with such huge amount of data available with the touch of our skin, which we handle all the time, our phones or all our screens, we are basically deluged with so much of data, so much of information, which possibly our brain at times cannot even process. So it's not just intellectually understanding. It's almost like, if I can share with you, we talk or we hear about positive thinking. Now, you will definitely agree with me that positive thinking is just not enough. It's not just thinking good, that good things can happen. But more importantly, what is most important of all is positive action. It is not just what we intellectually understand about a particular thing that we need a solution for, but it's what action our mind is determined. It's what action we are able to allow our brain to work out. How we dictate our body to work on it. How we put everything into a proper discipline in life. That is, I think, more important at this point of time. Now, you also would appreciate if I say that there are times when we are deluged with so much of emotional, kind of, just as the COVID is everywhere and we are so afraid and scared, but at the same time, there are situations and circumstances in our life where we are overwhelmed, we are clueless, we can't do anything. Emotion almost overpower us. Not only that, our past memories keep biting us from inside, and our future brings so much of anxieties and tensions on which we hardly have any control. So it's like a pendulum. Our mind is like a pendulum between the two ends of the past memories and past stuff that is there, and the future unknown and unseen yet. So we are basically like a pendulum tossing between the two, missing one point, which is right at the center. And that's the point which I would like to bring out as the most vital thing for each one of us to meditate upon, to contemplate upon, and bring our awareness and consciousness towards that particular point of focus. And that is the present. That is the gift. That is the presence we all need to really think about. Now, when these are the situations and circumstances How do we manage this? We know that we have an untamed horse. We know that we have this particular mind which is wandering all the time, and it is so difficult to stop its agitation, stop its emotional outbursts, stop its anger, frustrations, fear, anxieties, tensions, and stresses. We all know it. But the deeper question is, how do we start really working and taking action? My first point of calming ourselves is learn to stop, learn to pause. Dear friends, I hope you will keep these two words very deeply into your system, into your mind, into your own consciousness. First art, in order to calm our mind, the first art that we all need to learn is to put the reins in that horse, is to stop. When we are in a traffic, there is a red light, we stop. We don't ride. In the same manner, we need to know when to stop. If we keep on doing and doing and doing and think only by doing we'll find the ultimate salvation of our life, I'm sorry, it won't happen, because we'll be addictive doers, and addictive doers is usually ones who ultimately get frustrated at some point of time. We need to pause. We need to understand when to stop. And this pausing and stopping is so very important. The whole concept of meditation, the whole concept of mindfulness is open around this particular point where we will be gradually learning to stop, assess, understand, perceive different other dimensions of the consciousness that is all around us, playing at any one point of time, depending upon certain internal or external situations and circumstances and environment. Friends, I'm sure you will appreciate this point, that in order to really rein this horse of our mind, one thing that really has worked wonderfully well globally today and have come mainstream in all the corporates, in all the professionalisms, and in every sphere of human life, it's about mindfulness. It's about meditation. Now, what is this mindfulness all about? Mindfulness is basically, if I would just talk about the practice of it, if I can be mindful of my breath, I understand newer dimensions of my own inner vital force, or the power of prana that is keeping me alive. Not only that, the entire emotional pattern, the mental pattern, and all the thought patterns of my mind and body, even they can be deeply influenced the moment I allow my mind to dwell on my breath. So mindful breathing, globally now, the neuroscientists all over the world, they have already experimented it all over in different universities of the world. Particularly, I'm associated with the University of Wisconsin in Madison, where they are doing intense research. I have visited that place, given many talks on mindfulness. And they are doing such wonderful research on this particular subject of mindfulness. And then what they do is they bring all the meditators from different parts of the world, mostly Buddhists. And then they just, kind of have all their brain mapped through their MRIs and different other devices. And then what they try to do is they try to understand what differences are happening in the subtle plane of the mind as well as the gross plane of the mind. They see that those who are practicing mindfulness, they become kind and compassionate over a period of time. And those areas of the circuitry of the brain, which basically deals with the compassion, the kindness, the empathy, the love, the understanding, the harmony, each of these great positive powers in each one of our spiritual self, they start to manifest. And not only those centers are activated when you are in meditation, when you are doing things mindfully, but at the same time, more importantly, what happens is there is a gross change in the brain. They can see even the organ that is brain is going through changes. This is something really fantastic, because all the years we know from millennia in this land where we are born, we are blessed to be born in this country, Bharat, there's India, with the legacy where the seers and sages have experimented with their body, with their mind, with their breath. These are the three instruments they had. They didn't have these big labs that the University of Wisconsin has. The only lab they had is their own mind. The only lab, the most equipped in the world, the most fascinating in the world, is the laboratory of our human body, is the laboratory of our own mind, is the laboratory of our own breath. This mind, this breath, and this body is such a gift, from the whole of the universe. It's something that fills my heart with deepest sense of gratitude, moment to moment to moment. The moment I think about the air, the light, the ether, the earth, the akasha, everything put together is what my body is. The universe has created this unique body for a purpose. And that purpose is not to get, frustrated because something is not right outside of us or something is not right inside of our life. But we know that we are blessed with capacities, with potentialities, with powers, which are much more voluminous than what the problems of the world could ever bring to us. And that can only happen provided we land into positive action. One of the positive actions, to calm our mind is to regularly practice mindful breathing. Number 2, mindful walking. Number 3, mindful seeing, mindful hearing, mindful talking, your communication. You can communicate so much more better. It will be such a skill of communication the more you practice mindfulness in your life. Now, how do you practice this mindfulness? It's very simple. I always share with everyone I go a very simple word. Just try to change each and every small, tiny, daily chores of your life as tools for transformation. You don't have to go to any ashramas. You don't have to go to any monasteries because you all know the mindfulness has walked out of all the monasteries of the world where previously it was with the sages and saints and holy ones. And then those who had monastics in order, they used to practice all this meditation and stuff. But today, even a corporate like Google has their own mindfulness program, Search Inside Yourself. It is already understood that we cannot manage this particular world filled with so much of negativity all around us where we are bombarded with it. And we are not shielded enough. Not only the viruses that we are talking about, I'm talking about so much of negativity that is there between humanity, between us, in our own home, in our spousal level, in all our relationships, at work, in our professions, in our business. Everywhere it appears as though each human is almost battling through life. It's so much more important for all of us to have good health and good mind, provided we practice mindfulness. In practice of mindfulness, what you try to do is that you try to bring your mind to the present moment. It is nothing but how you bring your mind from the past, from the future to the moment. And in order to bring the mind to the present moment, the practice that you need to do is that whatever you are doing, let's take, for example, you're brushing your teeth. One could be that it is one of the daily rituals that you do, quickly brush. And when you're brushing your teeth, you don't even know you're brushing your teeth because it doesn't need you. You've brushed your teeth since your childhood, so you don't need you for brushing your teeth. You can brush without knowing. But mindful brushing of your breath, in your teeth, needs you and your participation, your awareness, your conscious effort to be there, knowing what's happening in that entire process. And you don't give your mind to your planning for the whole day as you brush through because you know you have to attend to 10 more other chores of daily life. Mindfulness is disconnecting from the 10 other chores, but bring it to this one single act, one single breath, one single step, one single task at a time, so that your brain will learn to focus, to bring your attention so that your performance in each of the part of your work would just be excellent. It has been proved by science, and all that's something I'm talking about from the point of view of what the saints and sages of our land have said, but I'm talking about the result of the science that all have proved already. So the thing is this, what I'm trying to share with you is this. Please try to bring each of your daily chores in your life from the state of forgetfulness to mindfulness, from unmindfulness to mindfulness, from unconsciousness to consciousness, from unawareness to awareness. This is the paradigm shift that has to happen to all of humanity if we are to survive as humans on this planet while sustaining all other species of life, because unconsciously, unmindfully, we have done such huge damage to the world, and COVID is one such. A knock on our door to wake up to be more mindful, to wake up to be more aware, to wake up to hear the call of the universal intelligence, that it is time we try to bring more practice to transform our inner. And then as we have a better glass to see this world, and we have a better vision and more clarity to understand this world and its fairness or unfairness, we will be definitely better human beings, both at home and at work, and in our societal levels. Everywhere as humans will perform much better. So here, I think one of the practice that we can always do right now for the next few seconds is to quickly, if you can join me in this, wherever you are, if you're sitting in your chairs or if you're on the floor, nothing like it. If you can sit cross-legged, your body is erect. If you're on a chair, make sure both of your feet are on the ground. And for a few seconds, I want to see what it is to be mindfully breathing. So as I said a few seconds back, I was talking about mindful breath. So here, please close your eyes for a few seconds. And make sure your body is seated in a dignified posture with your spine erect, your chin up, your shoulders little pushed back, your hands on your thighs or knees or any place that is more comfortable to you, and make sure that the whole body is very relaxed. Just bring your mind for a few seconds to your breath. And take a deep breath. And exhale through your mouth. Take a deep breath. And exhale through your mouth. Once again, a deep breath. And exhale through your mouth. Do just with closed eyes. Try to feel your incoming and outgoing breath. As you breathe in, just watch your breath moving into your body, the air, vital energy of prana. As you breathe out, be conscious that you're breathing out, and you know you are breathing out. Just knowing that you are breathing. So the breath is not you, but you are the knower of your breath. It's as if the whole universe is breathing through you, in you, and you are only watching it, knowing it, observing it more precisely, like a beautiful surfer surfing in the waves of your breaths. Now please open your eyes. In the last few seconds, you must have watched that it doesn't take much time. Even if you have 30 seconds, if you have a problem, any problem, it's already scientifically proved that any time we have any kind of emotional outburst in our mind, one of the easiest way by which we can shift our consciousness from the problem area to an area of peace and tranquility and calm is to move our attention from the problem and trying to be caught in that particular whirlpool. We just log out of it, we just burn out of it, and then come to a state where we are just yoking our mind with the breath and taking some deep inhalation and exhale through our mouth. And again, take some deep inhalation and know it that you are inhaling. Know it that you are exhaling even a deeper, longer, mindful breath. Know that your breath is magical, because the simple reason each one of us were born with our first breath of life. When we could breathe from out of the womb of the mother, we were the ones given the biggest challenge of our life. Can we breathe from the universe, not mother breathing for us anymore? Because now is the time. And then those who could breathe the first breath, we really could hear this happy birthday. But there are many people, many small kids who cannot breathe the first breath. They're called stillborn. Now, we breathe throughout our life, not knowing completely, because it is a natural process. And a day comes in each and everybody's life when we breathe out and we have not the power to breathe in. And that is also called as the last breath. For this body, for this life cycle, for this experience that we are all going through in this particular body-mind system, it starts with our first breath. It ends with our last breath. And the bridge that we all pass through any number of years, any number of weeks, any number of decades that we are on earth, it's the bridge. And to cross this bridge of life, we all the time are taking our breaths. So please, all of you, I would suggest that if you really want not only to take care of these challenging situations of COVID, you have to energize yourself. You have to improve your entire immune system, not only your physical immunity, but your mental immunity, your emotional immunity, and your overall pranic immunity. The whole pranic healing will just boost your immune system so strong. But for that, each one of you have to find time to your own body, your own breath, your own mind. These are your kids. These are like your children. They're always calling your attention. You are giving your attention to everything in the world to find peace, happiness, and you never found it, nor can you ever find it in life. Just try to revert that. Retreat back each day for at least 20 minutes, 10 minutes, 5 minutes, even 30 seconds. Retreat, unplugged from the world of each of your sense perceptors to the external objective world, and plug into your inner awareness and consciousness of your breath. When you are walking, if you could walk mindfully, you'll find that your walk is not a walk, but you are almost dancing, because then your entire process of awareness is kindling inside of you a different level of awareness. And with awareness comes your presence, with awareness comes the divine grace, the positive energy field that is all around you all the time, 24/7. Are we ready to tap on it? Are we ready to download it into our system? And we can, provided we definitely lean on to our breaths. So please, my dear friends, all of you, it's such a privilege for me to talk to each one of you today, to just once again remind ourselves the huge blessing that we all have in our breaths, provided we can garner, provided we can just harness this pranic energy by deep breathing practices. There are different kinds of practices. Now let's do another one practice, which I would like you all to learn. This is called Nadi Shodhana Pranayama. Nadi Shodhana. There are about 72,000 nadis, the current of life flowing through each one of them, and distributing the life energy to trillions of cells in our body. You and I are nothing but community of 50 to 100 trillion cells. And look at the beauty of the universal reality. The universe has designed this human body in such a way. Trillions of these cells are functioning every moment in perfect symphony, in perfect harmony, in perfect understanding. What a unique symphony and orchestra that the divine has orchestrated in this particular human body. And none of us pay enough attention to it. None of us even do what I would call as self-love. Loving our body not for the cosmetic reasons, but loving our body in order to understand the sensation, the finer vibrations, which can be tuned to the universal body, the universal vibrations all around us, so that my individual body and the universe, that is also a body, my individual and the universe are continually in communion, in communication, so that I can continually get feed from the universal source, pranic vibrations of vitality, of immunity, of strength, of everything by which we can fight back. We can stand firm against all the odds of life. Whatever may be the negative situations that is confronting us, we will never be daunted by it as long as we have the shield, not this COVID shield I'm talking about. COVID shield is a very temporary stuff. COVID has come, COVID will go. But what is really the problem is with our own mind. Because there's a beautiful word, mind is a place where you can make heaven out of hell or hell out of heaven. So it is the mind that needs that calmness, that tranquility, that peace and harmony. Because that is the residence of our life. That is where we live 24/7, 365 days of our year. All the time we are living in our minds. That place needs our attention, attention, attention. And this attention, undiluted is what is mindfulness. In a deeper state of mindfulness, you transcend to a state which is called meditation. It is a state wherein you are in perfect harmony and unity with the universal consciousness, where your individual self no longer talks about time and space. When you have transcended that barrier and you find that you are absolutely drowned in the ocean of cosmic bliss, it's almost like you are surrounded by it. Yes, as most people often say, yes, I tried, but I failed. I couldn't manage it. But I'm telling you, you can. First, you do the yama, niyama, asana, pranayama. We don't do the yamas, we don't do the niyamas, we don't do the asanas, and we don't do the pranayamas. We jump into what is called dhyana. But that is, meditation is a much higher state. Before that, we need to practice pranayama every day. Before that, we need to practice some kind of yoga exercises every day, because that is what is needed. If we can do that, our body, our mind, our entire hormones, our harmony would all be established. So naturally, we don't have to depend on all the doctors and pills and all the chemicals, which is completely destroying each and every human body, creating loads of side effects, and you know what is the danger of it all. So please, let's do this particular pranayama, all of us. Once again, sit erect on your wherever, in whichever place you are sitting. Both of your feet must be on the ground, grounded well, your back straightened up, and make sure every time you are practicing this, you become very mindful of one fact, that here you are, recognizing the universal energy all around you. You are trying to communicate with the energy of the universe, and you are welcoming that. You are trying to just bring it into you so that it can heal you from your hair to the tip of your, the nails of your toes. Whole body should be immersed, drowned, bathed in that cosmic light of consciousness. With your right finger, right thumb, just close your right nose, and just with your middle finger and your ring finger, you can operate your left nostril. But I'm not going to do the Anulom Vilom to start with. Before that, Nari Shodhana expects that we do it in each nostrils for a few times. So 3 times, what we will do is that we'll inhale through the left and exhale through left. Inhale through left, exhale through left. But inhale 4 counts of inhalation Hold 4 counts, exhale 4 counts, and hold 4 counts. Inhale 4 counts, hold 4 counts, exhale 4 counts, and again hold. Both ends we are holding 4 counts. We are inhaling and exhaling through the same nostrils 4 times or 3 times. So let us start together, all of you. I'm not able to see any one of you, but I would have been so happy to see most of you here. I only see the names. I don't see anyone here, but I'm sure all of you are in your own place and you are able to hear me and you are able to practice so that I can see how each one of you are practicing. With your thumb, just close your right nostril and take a deep inhalation. Make sure you can just have the other hand resting on your thighs with Dhyana Mudra and take a deep inhalation from your left nostril. And hold for 4 seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4. And exhale 4 counts. Hold for 4 counts. And inhale for 4 counts. Hold for 4 counts. 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold. 1, 2, 3, 4. Inhale. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold. 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale deep. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now you can close your left nostril and open your right and do the same thing through your right nostril. Take deep breath through your right nostril, taking 4, 4, 4, 4. Let's start. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold. 1, 2, 3, 4. And exhale. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold. 1, 2, 3, 4. Inhale deep. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold. 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale deep. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold. 1, 2, 3, 4. Inhale. Hold. 1, 2, 3, 4. And exhale. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now just release. Now what we are going to do is that once we have done both, now we will just continue to practice like this for the next 7 to 10 days for those who are novices, who have never practiced before. For others who have already practiced Anulom Bilom, or what we call as alternate nostril breathing, they can continue, but others can just do practice this Nadi Sodhana. What it does, it cleanses all the channels of our nadis and gives us an immunity boost to our body. And what you're going to do about up to 7 to 10 days is inhale through your left nostril, exhale through your right, inhale through your right, and exhale through your left. This is 1 cycle. Let's do it for 3 cycles, all of us together at this moment. Take a deep breath through your left. Hold. And exhale through your right. Hold. And inhale. Through your left. And hold for a few seconds. And exhale through your left. Please inhale through your left. And exhale through your right. Inhale through your right. And exhale through your left. I hope you can practice this whenever you have time. Make sure your empty stomach is the best time. Early morning is the best time. The first thing I do once I open my eyes every day in my life is I open my eyes and acknowledge the fact that I can see. I don't take it for granted that every morning I can wake up to see. The first wonder of wonders is that I can see. What a joy. I just not only appreciate, but express my deepest gratitude to the whole of the universe that I can see, I can feel, I can touch, I can do everything, and I can see the loved ones. So these are very simple things, the expression of gratitude to the universe. Let the day begin with a celebration like the beautiful birds which twitters in the morning, singing, dancing from branch to branch, telling every one of us, it is such a joyful day. We are going to have such a fun-filled day. Same thing should happen to each one of us. We should not wake up every morning with a hangover of the past. We should wake up to every morning with a new note of gratitude, joy, and love for what we are going to have today. Every moment that day is going to present to us is going to be absolutely new, fresh. And as a result, we should be able to wake up to realize that it is I, through my mind and through my projection, that create the future. It is the present moment that creates the future. The past could be anything, but how I process in the present moment is what kind of thing is going to be projected in the future. So that's how I start my day and do my pranayama exercises every day. Right at 72 years, this coming 10th of May, I'll be 72, and this is not dyed hair. This is pure black. Yeah, so all of it is possible provided we really live a life of gratitude, practice positive action, and then every day make sure that this body is a divine gift of the universe. This mind is a divine gift of infinite power, of infinite potentiality. We have not even tapped a fraction of the total power of the mind. But to do it, we first need our commitment to ourselves. It's not giving a commitment to anybody else. Let's never forget, if you commit even a simple thing to your mind, that you want to wake up tomorrow morning at 6 and go to a place and start walking for about half an hour, make sure, let the world top over, but then you must wake up at 6. If you can do it for 3 days continuously, without stopping the bell alarm that goes on. If you are determined and you can wake up at 6 for 3 to 5 days, you can be rest assured you are not going to have any more obstacles on your way. The mind needs to train the brain to stand to your own commitment to yourself. If you fail with your own commitment to yourself, you can be rest assured your brain will take you for a ride. Because a beautiful saying of the neuroscientific world is, neurons that fire together, were together. Neurons that fire together, were together. Whatever thoughts you think again and again, that's exactly what forms the habit of your life. If you are thinking positive, action-oriented thoughts and you are committed to it, you can be rest assured you are moving toward a life where you can accept any challenge and completely transform that challenge into a golden opportunity for you to see the next layers of your life. It's a question of how you open up the horizons before you. It's what is your vision, what is your mission, what is your commitment. That's exactly and how you are determined with your positive action every day that decides the fate of your tomorrow. This breathing practices basically orients your entire body. It just completely transforms your emotion into what we call as emotional intelligence. I would like to tell you in one word how important it is for each one of us to bridle our emotions today, because so many families are breaking into pieces. So much of politics all over in all the corporations and business worlds. Ethical and moral values are waning to the ultimate disaster. Why? Because of the simple reason that we are not able to bridle our own emotions. And here, these practices of daily yoga and meditation and pranayamas would give you the grip over your own body, over your own mind, not in somebody else's mind and somebody else's body. It's first me. I have to first take care of myself. I have to first understand myself. I have to first anchor my spirit into my own spirit. This is the way I go. So with this, I open up for a few questions, if you so wish. to ask me because we have another few minutes to go. But before that, before I possibly ask for any questions, I'm just going to tell you one thing. Let's always keep in mind that meditation practice cannot be postponed. Mindfulness practice cannot be postponed. Anything good cannot be postponed. Anything bad can be deferred and postponed. Whatever good you decide to do, don't postpone it. Do it right away, today, now. And for that, the best way to do is that first take care of this unique gift that you all have, your body. The unique gift that you have, your own mind. The unique of uniqueness, the magic of your breath. If you can start garnering your attention and focus into your body and your mind and your breath, the 3 tools for transforming you into a successful person. And I would like to just in one word express what is success to me. To me, success is like the one great master of the Tibet. His name is Milarepa. When he was dying at the ripe age, and he was basically transiting by will, he was asked, give us the message to the world when you are parting from this world. You know what he said? He said 2 words. He said, I lived my life without regrets, and now I'm dying without regrets. Dear friends, let us live our life in such a manner that we don't try to put the blame on somebody else and still nurture regrets inside of us. If only that would have happened. If only I would have done this. If only I would have done that. And then bring all of it into ourselves to die with shame, guilt, and frustrations. Each day is a gift to us. Each moment is a gift to us, provided we wake up to accept the challenge and we wake up to accept it, not to fire the same neurons anymore, but to create new neurons into our mind, new channels into our mind, new circuitry into our mind, so that our brain waves can definitely slow down a bit at times, calm down a bit at times, and you can be rest assured, calmer your mind, more clarity you have about life. And the more clarity you have about life, more your vision for life is clear, and you will understand the very purpose of human birth on this planet. And you will be able to have the best of all gifts in life, the power to have perfect sense of how to manage relationship and how to manage yourself. These are the 2 things emotional intelligence gives you: how you manage yourself and how you manage your relationship at home and at work, at business, in social levels, in everywhere. How you manage and lead yourself, how you manage your relationship and lead your relationship. All this is possible provided you have the practice of mindfulness and meditation on a daily basis. Just bring your mind to the awareness of your whole body. Just suggest relaxation to every part of your body with a quiet mind. And don't worry whether your mind goes all over. It does. But as you keep on practicing, a day will come, the mind will gradually settle down, and you'll find that you are able to have a complete different quality of life.
So I would request all of you, we have few minutes, and we are so very fortunate to have Bodhi with us, and we were all listening to you. You know, I can speak for myself, absolutely mesmerized. I never even realized when, time passed and we have only 7-8 minutes with us. I will request all of you to put in question. Till the time somebody puts in the question, Bodhi, we have received some question, myself and Anirban, even before the program started. So I will ask some of those questions to you.
Please.
So one of our friends is writing that, how do I overcome the fear of unknown? I'm putting 2-3 questions together. Maybe you can club it because we have limited time. And then somebody is asking that, how do we deal with anxiety? When we are surrounded with so much of negativity all around us, when we do not know what the future holds for us, and how do we control ourselves? There's one more question: how do I control external factors? How do I calm myself from intrusive thoughts? How do I remove negativity from my mind? These are similar questions. I've put it all together, and I would request you if you may please.
I think the shortest time we have, the simple answer that I have is already delivered. During the course of last few minutes that I was talking to you, if you have really have any sense of what I was trying to share with all of you is what I have practiced all my life. I have seen one thing: the more you try to control the outside, more the outside controls you. More you try to resist outside, more the outside resists you. Everything that you resist persists. The best thing that I have learned that I can share with all of you is not bookish, is what I have practiced. 50 long years of practice. I tell you, the essence is very simple. Do not try to control. I have written a book titled Your Mind, Your Best Friend, and Your Mind, Your Worst Enemy. Your mind, your best friend means befriend your mind. Don't try to control your mind. If you try to control your mind, the mind will control you. Anyone, even your puppy, if you try to control your child, if you try to control, they will control you tomorrow. It's not the question of control. It's how you befriend. And it's how you just be with it. Accept whatever happens in your life. First, you must recognize what it is. Then you accept it. When you accept it, you don't accept it like as you expect it to be. Accept it as it has come. First is your acceptance. When you can accept anything, then you embrace whatever the situation is. Don't run away if it is a fear, anxiety, or whatever. Find out what it is and just embrace it. Don't run away, don't resist, don't fight, don't battle, don't belittle. Don't get ashamed, don't feel guilty. Just observe it. In the meditative process, what we do, in the mindfulness process, what we do is that we become aware of the situations, and the situations automatically come to form in such a manner that it starts to open up new horizons of solutions for us. Everyday practice of mindful, small, tiny little chores of your day will open up new vistas of your mind, new horizons and new possibilities for you to understand how much power you are already empowered with. But it can never come to you through bookish knowledge. It can never come to you through intellectual understanding. It can never come to you through any libraries or lectures of the world. It can only come to you through some iotas of practice, of brushing a little mindful, of having a shower with gratitude, touching the water as energy and being grateful to it. Being grateful when you are just having some food, for express gratitude to the whole of the universe which created and gifted to you. It's not money which has just bought it. Each and every phase of your life, as you fill it up with the sense of gratitude, love, admiration, and aspiration, automatically you are changing your inner. And when you change your inner, the outer automatically changes. Most of us from the earliest childhood, we are being programmed, change outside. I am trying to share with you, based on the scientific facts, change inside and everything changes. If I have these glasses, which is muddy of the glasses, I will see everything hazy. That doesn't mean the external things are hazy. I just need to clear my glasses and I'll see crystal clear. My mind needs that clearing, cleaning, purifying, and completely detoxifying, and it will create everything for you, can be rest assured. Practice, practice, practice. If you have any questions, I will possibly write my email address, eternalbaba@gmail.com. Please even don't hesitate to write to me. I'll write back to you. Any of your queries, anything that you want to know, how you want to progress, how you want to proceed in life, I'll be extremely happy to be of any help to each one of you. But what I want of you is, please understand 3 tools that you have already gifted with. Your body, your mind, your breath is good enough to gift you the ultimate beauty and harmonious, healthy, lovely, enjoyable life on earth. Thank you, thank you, thank you so much. And I am indeed, I should once again, Amitabh Babu, I'm so very thankful to you. I'm indeed so pleased with each one of you. We have about 310 participants, a huge number, and I am absolutely convinced, that even if a few of you could take this body, mind, breath as the tools for transformation, as the takeaway, and start practicing without even failing one day, so that your brain learns that you are serious about positive action, you can be rest assured you are going towards a new life. No COVID can touch you as long as you have a strong immune system built up of your own personal care, love for your own self. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Bodhi. Thank you so very much. I can't really express myself, I'm feeling so good. I'm sure all of us who are here today are really, really touched by what you have said. We wish it would have continued for some more time, but, have limited time today. Otherwise, we never realized, it's 1 hour. We never even realized how it passed by 1 hour. And all I can say, Bodhi, is that all of us at CMA, all of us who are here today, 300 plus participants, all our friends, on behalf of all of them, our heartfelt gratitude and thanks to you for being with us and for leading us to more light in life. Thank you.
Chundima, if I can just add a word,
Sure,
Bodhi, and thank you very, very much on behalf of all of us, as Chundima said. In fact, hearing you speak, we'd be grateful. In fact, Chundima and I, we can discuss and we can plan a program. We can have a slightly longer session, as in when you're free, when you can do it. But I think it's very, very important that all of us at different stages of life and different walks of life, I think all of us need to do this. And I will get in touch with you personally on something that I'm passing through at this point in time, and I need your help to get over it. But thank you very much for being with us. And it is a fantastic, fabulous program. And we look forward to having you with us again.
And I offer this instrument that the great master of my life created. This is for all of you. Whatever I can share, I'll only feel more and more blessed. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Now we will move on to our next session. With our immense gratitude and thanks to Bodhi, we move on to our next session. We have Narendra Kanga with us.
Okay, I have few minutes, but can I be with you, all of you, for a few
minutes?
Please.
Of course. Even Narendra was there for your session. Of course, we will be. It's our privilege if you are there with us.
Oh, thank you.
Most certainly. Narendra Kanga, we are so very fortunate to have Narendra Kanga with us today. And as I told you, he has decades of very rich experience helping and supporting people for their mental well-being, for their mental health. It's our privilege to have Narendra with us today. Yes, we're so very privileged. Thank you so much, Narendra, for taking time out. I know how busy you are, and you are having session after session. You are helping people in police. You are helping people in corporate. We are so very privileged, and we are so very thankful from all of us here at CMA and all of us here who are attending today. We are very, very thankful to you. It's my privilege to introduce you officially. Let me do that. Narendra Kanga is a clinical psychologist and psychotherapist. He works with different leading corporates and other organizations for supporting their members. He has done assessment of more than 1,800 Mumbai police workforce at Walkert Hospital, Mumbai. As a part of Project OPS, which is the largest study of its kind on police mental health. He is keenly interested in creating and increasing public awareness on mental health. He is the founder trustee Talk to Me Mental Health NGO. He is providing free counseling services to the deprived section of the society and pay as you can for others. I welcome you once again, Narendra. It's a privilege to welcome you, and over to you, please.
Thank you, Chandrima. Very kind of you to have me here. I also thank Amitabh ji for having me here because I think based out of Bombay and speaking to the audience in Calcutta is indeed a privilege for me. I was listening to Bodhi ji and I think he touched on huge concepts and I think he spoke from the heart, which I think is a skill which I need to learn. But really speaking, I think he touched on very, very important aspects, and it was a privilege to hear him. I'm not such an erudite speaker, but at the same time, I have been practicing for 35 years as a clinical psychologist and psychotherapist. So I have some amount of understanding, and I'm going to cover it from a mental health point of view. I think mental health or psychology and philosophy once upon a time were intertwined. So psychology has come out of philosophy and the two branches deviated. But there's a lot of psychology, there's a lot of philosophy in psychology. So since Bodhiji has already covered, what I'm going to do is largely stick to the topic which has been given from a psychological perspective, which is calming mind for success. At the same time, I'll touch on a few things which I think practically we can implement in our day-to-day lives. Because we are going through this pandemic, this is a very, very important topic to speak about because success as we saw it till 2020 February and success as we see it in 2021 February or March or April are totally two different things. And I think it's time for all of us to sit back, reflect, and understand what really life means to us or what really we really expect out of our lives. So without much ado, I want to say that thank you very much for this opportunity. So Talk to Me is an NGO which we started about 2.5 years back. I think it was a very strong intuition where I felt that mental health is going to become a very, very key aspect of our being. And unfortunately for us in our country, mental health is really, really ignored. Your government spends less money on mental health than even Bangladesh, which is a shock, which is shocking, absolutely. Because considering our population, if you're going to spend even less money than Bangladesh, I think there's something really which needs to be looked at drastically. As a practicing professional, I have seen the scene change where, say, in 1986, people used to be a little anxious and would cover up and not want to talk about mental health to a point where today some of my clients or some of my patients are wanting to take me on to TV shows where they want to talk about that, I'm their therapist and to talk about mental health across platforms. So I think it's the time has come that India as a country, India as an individual, and India as a corporate body needs to wake up that mental health really, really affects almost all aspects of our life. So if a businessman or a corporate body is looking at a performance or profits or really competing with the best in the world, you definitely cannot ignore mental health, because if the rest of the world is paying attention to mental health, I think we really need to do the same. So let me just start off with the thing. I'm going to share a PPT over here if possible, because that will help me to cover some of the things which I want to talk about over here.
So you have the hosting right, so you can easily, yeah, it's coming up.
So it's come?
Yes, sir, it is visible.
So, sorry, is it maximized? So, calming mind for success. Now, this is the title that we are talking about. And Bodhiji, if you look at this picture, it's a visual picture, but just by looking at the picture, you'll understand that it itself has an extremely calming effect if you keep looking at the picture. If you pay a little more attention, you'll find the tower is swaying over there. And if you go a little deeper, you'll see shades of blue, indigo, etc. So primarily, we want to focus on talking about how we can really calm our minds. So let me go to the second slide. I'm going to do a small exercise over here. And this is a simple breathing exercise, which I want all of y'all to practice. You can just look at the screen and let's try to do this exercise. I'll keep it going for 10 breaths and I want you to do this with me.
Okay. Hold for it.
The last one. I'm sure all of y'all would have realized for the first, second, third breath, all of y'all would have struggled. But as we went ahead, you would have found that it becomes easier. Now, some of us who are not really paying attention to our breathing, this is a good way to actually pay attention to your breathing. And you'll find that it will help you to actually calm down when you do something as simple as that. Now, so what is success to you? We feel that everybody has to define success for himself, and nobody else can define what success actually can mean to you or it means to you. So, different people, success means a sense of accomplishment or career progression. That means I started at point A, I keep working on it, and I reach point B, point C, point D, and along the way, I reach a point where I think that I'm progressing in my life. The second definition of success that some of us have is that you want to give back to the world and make a difference. Now, what is this giving back to the world? Many of us are fortunate. We have the basic needs and necessities, or even if we don't have, along the way, we've covered more than we had anticipated. We earned more, we achieved more, and now we feel that it's time to give back to the world and make a difference. The third definition of success is a sense of being able to do the things you love. A lot of people feel that if I eat, if I drink, if I travel, if I do whatever I feel like, then that and these are things which I love, well, I have achieved success. Actually, it's entirely up to you, because this concept that one size fits all is not possible. So your concept of success is absolutely different from somebody else's point of success. Also, at different stages and ages of your life, what you think success is not the same as what you may feel at a later point of life. So let's all understand that success is different things to different people at different points of time. Now, I want you to actually take a piece of paper, and I want you to write down all the milestones that you want to achieve in different areas of your life. I'll give you 2-3 minutes, and then unfortunately this slide has opened up fully, but I just want people to just think of some of the things that they feel they want to achieve in their lives. And if you understand this, it's very, very important. Please don't read what's written below. I want you to focus on some of the things that each of us have planned for our milestones. I will just give you 2 minutes very quickly without looking at the rest of the slide. You have to write down the things which you want to do in your life, or all the milestones which you think are important for you to achieve. 2 minutes, please. Those of you who don't have a piece of paper could write on your phones, or just make a notepad and write it. One more minute. Okay, so what I want you to do now is, whatever you've written, look at the question number 1 and ask yourself this: do the goals and attributes in your list align with your values? Values is what we believe is we want to live up to. Okay, so whatever you've written in that list, do these goals or attributes align with your values? The second thing that you need to ask yourself is, are these your own goals? That means these are goals which you had set out for yourself, or are these based on expectation of someone else? It could be a family member, it could be a relative, it could be your colleagues, your workers, or other friends, or whatever. So whether these are your goals or they're based on expectation of other people. The third thing is, examine your list and see whether some of the things on the list matter more to you than others. So you may have written 10 things. You need to look at which is really very, very important and which is least important over here. Fourth thing that I want you to look at is, have you already accomplished some of the things on your list? So for example, somebody says that, oh, I wanted to be rich, or oh, I wanted to live till the age of 60, or whatever it is, whether you have achieved some of these things on your list. And finally, if you have not achieved some of the goals on your list, then what are you doing to work towards these goals? Now, these 5 questions, when you ask yourself, you will really understand what are your true goals, which resonate with your values. Now, the reason we are talking about values over here is if your goals do not resonate with your value system or your belief system, that creates an internal conflict. So, for example, if I believe that corruption is not good and I indulge in making money through corruption, it will internally create a conflict. Second, when we talk about are these goals yours or are these based on expectations of someone else, when these goals are my goals, one, I will work harder towards these goals, or I will be more honest, more passionate, more focused on these goals. When these goals are of someone else, that's when we will be dilly-dallying or will really not be working towards these goals. Many of us may say that, oh, I'm passionate about losing weight, or I'm passionate about charity, or I'm passionate about this, but we don't do anything towards that. These are social conformist kind of attitudes. So if you're really passionate about something, trust me, you'll work towards your goals. Third, do some of the things on a list matter more than others? This is very important because when you start looking at this, you create a list of priorities. Understand that many times you may have an internal list of priority, but when you put it out there on a piece of paper or on a telephone or on a mobile phone or on a chart paper or on a whiteboard, that's when they stare at us, and actually it serves as a reminder that these are things we need to do. Have you already accomplished some of the things on the list? This is also very important to look at because most of the time there's a lot of internal self-talk. Human beings keep on telling themselves, oh, I have not done this, oh, I have not done this, oh, I have not done this. And many times they forget to tell themselves what they have actually ended up achieving. Now, when you have a lot of internal negative self-talk, we cannot expect to feel successful or happy or at peace or calm. So the human mind is trained to look at the negative, is geared to look at the negative, and we tend to downplay the positive. So when we say that, oh, 100,000 people have died of this, what we don't say is that 10 lakh people have been saved with the same issue. So what we really need to understand is that whenever your mind or your brain is telling you a certain negative concept, you need to look at the fact whether it's ignoring the positive that is happening along with the negative. Finally, if not, what are you doing now to work towards these goals? This is a very, very important question. We tend to keep on deferring. We keep on saying that I'll do it tomorrow, I'll do it later, I'll do it some other day, I'm too busy, I don't have the time, I don't have the space, or I'm overburdened with things, responsibilities, etc., etc. What we need to understand, as Bodhi was saying, that if you don't work on what is important to you, also you cannot feel happy, because on one hand you're saying this is very, very important to me, or this is what I want to do, and you're keeping on deferring. So you are becoming your own worst enemy. You don't need a COVID outside, or you don't need external accentuating circumstances to make you feel bad, but it's your own internal conflicts which will terribly stress you out and create a lot of internal strife and discontent and unhappiness. So we need to make sure that whatever our goals, we need to work towards them. Now, second thing that I want to highlight here is take a piece of paper and write down what it looks like when you're performing at your best. If you don't write down, let's just think about it. So look at your life and look at those circumstances when you felt you were at your best. Are you at your best when you're with your child? Are you at your best when you're with your friend? Are you at your best when you're with your parents? Are you at your best when you're with your colleagues? Are you at your best at work? Where are you really at your best? And you need to then look at what is it that's making you perform at your best. Now, why am I talking about try to look at what's helping you to perform at your best? Because you need to replicate this to other parts of your life. So, for example, at work, you feel at your best because you feel in control. What you need to understand is that same control needs to be brought to other aspects of your life. and you'll start feeling your best. Second, you need to look at is embody the characteristics of people you admire. All of us, I think in India, most of us admire our parents for what sacrifices they have done for us. Or we admire some of the people who have done very well for themselves. Or we admire certain leaders. So we need to understand, not just admire uh, abstract as an abstract, but to really look at what are the qualities that they bring to the table. So for example, I was doing a training program with kids. This was a couple of years back, where I asked them that who's the best cricketer according to in the world, and many of them said Sachin Tendulkar, for example, and or somebody else will say Saurabh. Now you need to then go into a deeper part where you ask them to examine why is it that you admire this person, or what are the qualities you think this particular role model that you look up to brings to the table. Now, when you look at those qualities, that means when you admire this, in a way you want these qualities to be there in you. So if you start looking at people you admire, you will also get an understanding of what are the qualities you need to ingrain in yourself or you need to develop in yourself. Now, you also need to look at, have you really accomplished many of the things that you already wanted? And you are creating a new list of things. See, most human beings are never satisfied. They're never happy with what they've actually managed to achieve. And we constantly keep craving for more, 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 more. So you start with a 2-bedroom house, you say, I want a 3-bedroom house. You start with from a 3-bedroom house, you want to go to a bungalow. From a bungalow, you want to own an entire building. So people keep on expanding their greed or what they want to achieve. And sometimes that is the cause for internal strife and discontentment. So many times you need to understand that what exactly was I looking 10 years back or 20 years back? And have I really shifted the goalpost so that today I'm feeling unhappy again? So we need to understand some of these aspects in our life. Now, how can a human being reach his or her full potential? One of the first thing is commit to personal growth. When we talk about personal growth, you have to look at what really you want in your life. See, from childhood, we are trained to look at what everybody else is doing. So if your friend is good at swimming, your mother wants you to go start swimming. If a friend is good at music, your mother wants you to learn music. If somebody is good at studies, your parents want you to get the top grade. But actually, what as parents or as individuals we need to look at is what really I want in terms of growth. So which are the aspects of my life which I want to highlight or which I want to achieve in or which make more meaning to me. Now, we may say that this is an individuation process. That means I have to keep looking at myself as an individual. So what may be important to somebody else, swimming may be loved by somebody else. It may not be really good for me. I may love music. A classic example is A.R. Rahman. Now, A.R. Rahman gave up studies at age 8, and his parents saw that he has this potential for music. Luckily for him, his parents allowed him to pursue music, and today he's an international rock star. So you have to pursue what you think is important to you. Second, I cannot highlight more than practice regular self-care. Unfortunately, the basic needs, food, sleep, exercise, etc., self-care is really ignored in our country. We keep on sleeping fewer and fewer hours. We keep on skipping our meals. We keep on delaying what's important for us. We don't go for health checkups. We don't take care of our physical body, the body which is actually helping you to achieve everything that you're achieving in this world. If you don't take care of yourself, trust me, like Bodhi was saying, when the body collapses, everything else collapses. So for example, today, if you're in an ICU and nobody can actually come and visit you, and I remember Amitabh Bachchan ji also saying that in the ICU when he was lying on bed and there was nothing except the doctors and nurses, the amount of loneliness that he felt was unbelievable. So this regular self-care, which is ignored. So we don't go for walks, we don't go for exercise, we don't sleep regular number of hours, we keep on pushing our bodies beyond its capacity and capability, and then we expect to reach our full potential. It's not going to happen. It's a pipe dream. Let's understand that. but at the same time, consistently push your boundaries. So, for example, if you are able to achieve something, you can always keep on aspiring for more, not in a greedy manner, but in a way what psychologists call as self-actualization. By self-actualization, I mean that I am able to do something, I can keep on doing it better and better and better. And that is what psychologically means pushing your boundaries. So if I can treat a patient in 15 sessions, if I start working on myself and I treat the same patient in 10 sessions, and I work on myself and I treat this person in 5 sessions, that is the meaning of consistently pushing your boundaries. That means you become excellent to a great extent at whatever you're good at. Make an effort to come out of your comfort zone. Now, this comfort zone is many times in life, we have to do things which we really don't want to do. For example, a lot of people, if you ask anybody, let's start an exercise program, they'll say, yeah, we'll start on Monday. Or you ask somebody, why don't you reduce the amount of alcohol you drink? They'll say, yeah, I'll stop it from next month. Or you ask somebody, why don't you go for a holiday? Oh, okay, next vacation, we'll look at the holiday. Now, what we really want to highlight over here is everybody has created this comfort zone, or what we call as the status quo. You want to operate in a certain way. People want to reach office at a particular time. People want to leave office at a particular time. People want to go home and do the same things every day. People want to do exactly the same pattern day in and day out, day in and day out. And they keep talking about boredom, monotony, life not being very great, and so on and so forth. So what I really want to highlight over here is that if you keep on repeatedly doing the same thing, I don't see how life is going to change or how you're going to really reach your full potential. So one of the things that we really need to look at is that if I've got too comfortable doing something, I need to change. A classic example which I give everybody is that, if you use the same road to go to your office and come back, on some day, take a detour, go to another lane and use the road, and you'll find that there are a lot of things which are new and that stimulate the brain and it makes you look around. Now, you may say that what's the point of doing all this? The point of doing all this is when your brain is lulled or dulled by doing the same thing repeatedly, you are not going to really achieve your full potential. Finally, take charge of calming your mind. Now, why am I saying this finally? Because with all this that you do, you have to set peace of mind as your highest goal and organize your life around it. Because while doing everything else, if you lose your mental peace or you lose your balance, you'll find that you're not really reaching your full potential. So while we are striving for the best, while we are striving for excellence, while we are trying to learn new things, while we are trying to not repeat day in and day out the same things, while we are looking at how I can really grow as an individual or as a human being, so that I can not only grow for myself, but I transmit this positivity to people around me. When I grow positively, I will transmit that positivity around me, and making sure that I don't lose my cool. Now, many of y'all may have come across people who are extremely successful, extremely rich, have reached a high level, but they abuse people around them, or they have fights in their families, or they develop a drinking problem. Basically, it's because they've not been able to deal and take charge of calming their own minds. So this is one part of the presentation that I have. I'm going to go to the next part. Are there any questions which I need to, or can I just go through the whole thing and take it to that level? Chandrima, can I just continue?
Yeah. So Narendra, we have a question. Now we have got a question from Shampa. He was asking that to become a successful person, we need to perfect in each and every corner of our field. But being a fresher, I have a tag fresher, quote unquote, fresher on myself. So is it put any effect in our first job or internship?
Okay. So I think the starting point itself is a problem. You cannot be perfect in anything and everything. Okay, you have to stop putting this kind of pressure. No human being is perfect. We can strive towards perfection. We can move towards perfection. And as I said, it's a question of growth. So moving towards perfection is growth. So at 20 or at 25, when you're starting an internship or job, you're not really perfect. You may not be really perfect at 70 also, but if from 25 to 70 you become a better and better and more evolved human being, that's the goal. So so for example, this concept of self-actualization means that there is no end to growth. People can keep on growing. Now in corporates, all of y'all, I'm sure all of, since many of y'all are corporate people, you understand that every year the standard growth model is that you increase the revenues by 10%, 15%, 20%. And if you're really aggressive, increase your revenues by 50%. So the concept of growth is that what you achieved last year, you are going to achieve 50% more or 30% more or 40% more. So this same concept of growth is that, you know, whatever I was achieving earlier, I keep on adding to that. It's not that on day one I was achieving what I'm going to achieve, say, 10 years down the line or whatever. So I think this concept that I need to be perfect. So even as corporates take it in their stance that what we achieved last year, we can definitely achieve more. They're accepting that we were not perfect last year. Otherwise, you'll really not set a higher target. So I think my answer to this question is that you need to keep on increasing the targets of growth that you set for yourself. And if you say, I want to be perfect, that's a short definition of making sure that you fail, because constantly you're going to look at that I'm not perfect, and you're not going to look at what am I good at. So this is my answer to that. Any other questions?
Thanks, Narendra. Would you like to take question now, or would you like to? I mean, there are one question which
okay,
have come to us.
I can continue. We can continue.
Should I ask you?
Sorry, no. If there's a question, I can answer.
Okay. So one or two questions we have received even before the program. So I will just tell you what's the question. Just a minute.
Yeah.
What is the keynote of success, and how do we decide what is the actual goal in our life? Can you hear me?
As I said at the beginning, it's a very, yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, sure.
Hello?
Yeah, I can.
So as I said at the beginning, I think, yeah, so the key here is what you define as your goal. So I think the key goal of success is how you define it. As I go ahead, I think it'll become a little self-explanatory. So as I said, we have to look at what are your goals, what are you doing to work, what are you really doing to work towards them, and how many of these goals really are boundaries are being extended. That is what, according to me, the definition of success is. So setting goals, new goals, and working towards achieving those goals.
Okay, there's another question. Very interesting. I personally like this question a lot. So I'm just parking it with you so you can answer whenever you wish to. What is the difference between success and settled? Could you hear me, Narendra?
Settled.
Success and settled in life.
Yeah, yes. Difference between settled in life. Yeah. Okay, so a lot of people we talk about this concept of equanimity in life. Now, this concept of equanimity comes from philosophy, where we talk about that whatever is happening around you doesn't disturb your equilibrium. Now, this state of equilibrium where I'm allowing the reality to impinge on me, or I'm allowing situations and circumstances around me not to destabilize my balance or my way of being or my humanity or my sense of self. That is what I would say as settled. And success depends on, as I said, so there we spoke earlier about how you value success. So people can value success as that, 30 years back, I was not earning anything and today I'm earning X, so I'm successful. Okay, I didn't have a house, I have a big house, I'm successful. So achieving materialistic goals is success to some people. The second definition, as I said earlier, is that doing what you love. So A.R. Rahman, when he plays music, he's lost in a trance. He doesn't care what money it brings or how the others feel about it. Doing what I love is success to me. And the third, which I spoke earlier, was that you move towards, we have spoken about it earlier. If I can go back to that slide, that giving something back to the world. So I think a lot of industrialists today, including Bill Gates or including a lot of our Indian entrepreneurs, have realized that whatever I'm earning, if I leave it for my family, and that family has a great life, that may not be really success. But if I give back to society, I build a hospital, or I build a school, or I build a charitable institute, or I do something where my money multiplies the benefit it has to society. So rather than a family getting the benefit, this benefit can be given across the board. So if you so recently, for example, the Sikh community set up a dialysis unit in Delhi. They created a dialysis unit of 100 beds where people can just walk in, take the dialysis treatment, and go away. There is no payment, there's nothing, food is served to you, it's clean, neat, everything is taken care. And there is no billing counter. Now, they said that the target is that 100 people, even if they do 12 patients a day or 10 patients a day per bed, that's about 1,000 people every day getting dialysis, free of cost. Now, this can be a way of looking. So where you do good for the larger community, that can be a definition of success for some people. I hope I've answered the question.
Yes, yes, definitely. At least I found some answer.
Can
Should I continue now with one or
Sorry?
two more questions? Should I ask you one or two more questions, or would you like to continue now with your presentation?
I'm okay. Yes.
Okay, so let me go ahead. Shubham is asking that how can we keep things going in life when things getting more tough?
Okay. So he is actually talking about the second part of my presentation. I will come to that, and
Okay.
I think the second part of the presentation will answer that part.
Okay, so we wait for that. In the meanwhile, just one more question. Vishal is asking, sir, how to manage our mind and stay focused on our goals?
Okay. So there is a very simple concept, and I think this also goes to our ancient culture. The mind is seen as a monkey. So it's called the monkey mind, right? So what does a monkey do? The monkey is never at one place. The monkey keeps on jumping. The monkey keeps on moving from tree to tree. The monkey keeps on doing whatever it feels like without fear of consequence or outcome of its actions. So the mind is like a monkey. Now, if you really want to, that's why this whole concept of meditation, relaxation, deep breathing, yoga, self-awareness, all these concepts have come into play. So the way to quieten the mind, where even the Buddhist meditation or whatever meditation techniques we follow, they basically tell you to learn to observe your thought, allow the thought to come, but not react or respond to the thought. So if I'm getting the thought, oh my God, what will happen tomorrow? If I just allow the thought to come and don't respond and allow it to go away, I will find that the thought doesn't bother me as much as if I start saying, what if, what if, what if? So A, observation of the thought is very, very critical. B, you also, as I said a little earlier, that the brain is prone to creating negative thoughts. The brain is prone to creating negative thinking. You're only going to look at worst case scenarios. You don't look at a more balanced viewpoint. So for example, when we talk about, say, somebody's driving the car and they have an accident, the first thing that comes is, oh my God, I'm such a bad driver. But when you sit with this person and you ask him, how long have you been driving? And they'll say, I've been driving for the last 15 years. How many accidents have you had? This is my first accident. What it means is 365 multiplied by 15. That means for almost 5,000 days, you have driven the car back and forth, back and forth. That means you have taken 20,000 journeys or 15,000 journeys. And after 15,000 non-accident journeys, you had one accident. Now, if you evaluate this, is it one accident versus 15,000 non-accidents? You'll obviously say, oh, that was great. But we only look at that one accident when we have that accident. So our mind tends to overplay the negative. We don't look at a more balanced view. That's the problem with the way the mind functions.
Thank you so much, Narendra. That gives us a lot more clarity. So maybe you can continue with the presentation because we have limited time. I have a couple of questions. If time permits and if you allow us, I will come back to you with those questions.
Yeah. Sure. So we'll go to the next part of the thing, which is calming your mind. So do successful people really keep calm? Now, there's a point here that if you really focus on success, you will find that you have stress. But if you pursue excellence, success will be guaranteed. So one of the key aspects that we really need to look at is that we need to focus on how we can better, as I said earlier, how we can become better and better and better at whatever we are doing, and not really focus on what success is going to be. Now, let me come to this. A research with more than 1 million people found that 90% of top performers are skilled at managing their emotions in times of stress in order to remain calm and in control. So if you really want to be a top performer, you have to learn to manage your emotions in times of stress. Those individuals who can manage their emotions in times of stress and remain calm and in control of situations are the ones who are really successful. The one theoretical notion is that calmness is a result of temperament. That means you're born as a calm human being. But a lot of current research is showing that people can be trained to become calm. It's not that you don't know how to be. It's not that people are born temperamentally as calm or irritable and stressful, but people can actually be trained to be calm. So which is very, very positive. I think all of us can learn to become calm if we so desire. That's a good thing. Now, but keeping calm does not entail that you will be away from stress. So there's a big misconception that we feel that those who are calm are not feeling any stress. Not true, because I'll come to that graph over there to the left-hand side, because our brains are wired such a way that it's difficult to take action unless some amount of stress is there. So I'll give you a classic example. Suppose there's an exam after 15 days. Most students will wait till 3-4 days before the exam and start reading. And on the night of the exam, they'll not sleep the whole night, and they'll study for the exam. And at the time of the exam, they'll be vomiting, they'll develop fever, they'll have anxiety, they'll be sweating, and finally they go and they finish the exam. Compare this to another student. There's 15 days to exam. That student starts studying and does 1 hour a day, then does 2 hours a day, does 4 hours a day. By the time the exam comes, he's finished 2 or 3 revisions. He goes coolly for the exam, finishes the exam, and comes back, doesn't have any emotional or physiological reactions, and is physically well managed. So I want to come to this graph, which I think I want all of you all to look at. So when there is low stress, there is boredom and depression, people's performance is at the lowest. As the stress amount increases, it leads to increased attention and interest. There is an optimum amount of stress. That means if we keep our anxiety and our stress levels at moderate levels, we really perform well. Then comes the other part where if the anxiety increases beyond this, our performance goes down. And at high anxiety levels, there's a complete meltdown. That means low anxiety and high anxiety are extremely detrimental to performance. We need to learn to manage our anxiety in the middle range, which is the optimum range or the moderate range. That is what heightened performance is all about. So those individuals who can manage this can perform over a period of time. Now, in this COVID scenario, particularly one other research which has come out is that a lot of people can maintain their anxieties moderately and perform well. But what happens when the stress is accentuated, when the stress is extreme, when the stress is extended over a year and a half, 2 years? God knows when this COVID scenario is going to get over. So we find that if the stress isn't prolonged, it's okay. So people need, the way the human mind is geared is that if you experience stress and you experience relaxation, you experience stress and you experience relaxation, your bodies tend to adapt. The neurons in the brain regenerate and certain neurons spring up. But if you continuously experience a lot of stress, you'll find that these neurons degenerate and new neurons do not come up. So the problem here is that stress itself fully is not bad. What is really terrible is that if this stress is going to last for a year, 2 years, 5 years of it. So you'll find that people who are able to, work for 2 months extremely high, and then they come back and they relax, then they work for 2 months, they will be able to perform really, really well. So what we really need to make sure is that we don't allow our stress levels to last for inordinately large or long periods of time. Then we will be able to function much better than we would if our stress is on non-stop and continuous. So why is it important for you to be calm? Because actually calmness is a human superpower. So if you don't take things personally, you'll keep your mind clear, your brain is clear, you're able to function, and your heart is at peace. So if your mind, brain, and your heart are at peace, you're actually able to take logical and rational decisions. What we need to understand is that there are different parts in the brain. There is a part of the brain which deals with emotions called the amygdala, and there's a cerebral cortex which is on top of our head, which is functioning to take logical decisions. Now, the emotional part of the brain is activated or overactivated. The logical part of the brain shuts down. So one of the reasons for staying calm is to allow the logical part of the brain to function, because this is controlled by the autonomic nervous system, is beyond your control. So as Bodhi was saying, that if I calm down my emotions, or if I don't allow my thoughts to create strong emotional reactions, my decision will be rational and logical. Second, staying calm allows you to develop assertive and positive personality. So when I'm calm, I am listening to other people and I'm able to answer back without getting emotionally triggered. Now, this allows me to speak my mind and not feel out of control. That's one part. And the second is when I talk logically to other people, you will find that the other person is also talking back logically to you. If you talk emotionally to other people, if I shout at a human being, there's a chance that the other human being can also shout back, or the other human being withdraws, doesn't talk to me at all. Now, what you need to understand is this: staying calm allows us to develop a positive interaction. At the same time, people look at me positively, I look at myself positively. When I'm able to solve problems and situations, I start thinking that, oh, I'm capable, I'm able to solve problems. And I start looking at myself positively. So that's the second advantage. It allows you to take time to prepare what you want to speak. So when you're calm and logical, you don't blurt out the first thing that comes to your mouth. You will analyze and you look at all the options and then you give your answers. The third is reach the cause of the problem. Understand problem solving is the key human need. I mean, in any situation, we need to solve our problems. Also, staying calm allows you to discuss then argue. So many times when emotions run high, people lose logic. They talk irrationally. And if there's an observer who's not part of the group and they observe people screaming, shouting, yelling at, and we find that we start wondering, why are these people behaving so illogically? So when we are calm as a group or even as an individual, you'll find that the discussions are more rational, more positive, more problem solving oriented. It saves yourself from chaos. Now, a lot of problems, when they are not solved properly, it leads to chaos, as we can see in the current scenario. When there's a focused approach, when there's a group of body which takes decisions, you'll find that the solutions are more logical. Finally, how do I do this? One is prioritize tasks. So one of the logical part or the cognitive way of functioning is that you start prioritizing. When I ask you write a list of things or goals you want to achieve, and then I said pin which of these are more important to you. Actually, what it basically is doing is prioritizing the task. Second, become solution oriented. Now, this solution oriented means that this is the problem statement. Now, those of y'all who are very good at math, you'll find that the key reason that you are good at math is that you became solution oriented. If X is equal to Y, what can I do with this? So basically, whenever a human being is solution oriented, they will not look at the problem. They look at how can I bypass or how can I overcome the problem. That's what needs to be done. The third is avoid asking what if. So every time a solution is offered, there are a few group people who will say, what if this happens? Or what if this doesn't work? What if that? Now this what if is very important. I'm not saying that we should not ask what if, but I'm saying if the focus is only on what ifs, then we are not solution oriented, we are problem oriented. We are trying to look at what can go wrong. As I said earlier, the tendency of the brain is to look at the negative. So every time you ask this what if, you are making everybody think of what can go wrong in this situation. And you're not looking at how it can go right. So going back to this example where I said, 100 bedded hospital free treatment. Now, one of the person can ask, what if instead of 100, 500 people land up? That what if question is valid. I'm not saying it's not valid, but let me at least start with 100 bed. I can, if there are 500 people coming, I can increase that to 500. So this what if needs to be avoided. Not that it's totally negative, but it needs to be avoided. Take ample breaks and breathe. Now, there's a book called Ikigai. It's a Japanese book which talks about that do the most important thing and take a break. Focus on this, take a break. Now, if you look at certain European countries, they're decreasing the number of working days, or they're decreasing the number of work hours. Certain economies are forcing people to go for holidays. If you don't go for holiday, they'll tell you to sit at home and not come to work. Now, this is contrarian to what we in India are taught. We in India are taught go to work, go to work, go to work, go to work every day, and make sure that you're only at work. Now, you must understand that this is, I think what people get confused with is being at work and actually doing work are two different things. So sometimes taking break is very, very important. I think there's a very simple management tool which is taught, that sharpening the saw. So for example, if you call a carpenter home and he works from 10 to 6:30, you'll find that from 10 to 11 in the morning, he's sharpening his saw and all the tools he's going to use. Now, if he doesn't sharpen the saw, the work is not going to happen. It's dull. So primarily the carpenter is using your money to sharpen his tools because he's doing your work. Similarly, human beings need to take ample amount of break and make sure that they take time to breathe. Now, this breathe also means, as I said, stress builds up over a period of time. So if you do focus work for 2 hours and you take 5 minutes back and you breathe, it will really help you. So I think this is very, very important. I'll go to my second last slide. So peace is a result of retraining your mind to process life as it is, rather than as you think it should be. I think this is largely saying exactly what Bodhi was saying, that whenever we try to create a situation where life fits into my preconceived notions, is when I experience a lot of stress. But when I see that this is the situation or this is the problem statement, what is the solution out of it, I will focus on how can I get out of this rather than the upheaval that this situation is causing to me. So actually, it's talking about retraining your mind. Please understand the emphasis on the word of retraining. That means your mind is already trained to solve problems. Like we already know that I want to reach from point A to point B. What do I need to do? I need to go from X road to Y destination. What do I do? But suppose that road is blocked. Suppose there's a morsha over there. I have to find another way to reach my goal. So it's about retraining your mind rather than saying, oh, I'm stuck in traffic, I'm stuck in traffic. So I think this is what needs to focus. So what are the tips to keep calm under pressure? One is remove yourself from the situation. So take the outside in perspective. What we do is we take the inside out perspective. Now this outside in perspective is I'm looking at it as a bystander, as if it is bothering somebody else. You'll find that immediately the emotional reactions shut off and you focus on how we can solve this. Pay attention to the details. As I said, whenever we start focusing on details, what happens is the mind is focusing on the nitty-gritty around rather than looking at how big the problem is. The third is use empowering language. So you must understand that language is an extremely powerful tool. the way we communicate with others really changes the way people look at a situation. So if I tell somebody, can we solve this? And then I say, oh, it's such a big problem. Of course, when I talk about can we solve this, also I'm talking about solving a problem. And when I say, oh, it's such a big problem, so when I use the word it's such a big problem, I'm already conveying to the other person that, oh my God, it's out of control. And when I say, can we solve this? I'm saying there's a problem which needs to be solved, but I'm not talking about how big or small it is. Ask the right kind of questions to focus on the right things. I think part of the logical part is to understand a situation before solutions can be found. So we need to ask questions. Consider seeking support from a reliable source. One of the key things I think which COVID or these kind of situations teach us is that you can go to a neighbor, or you can go to a friend, or you can talk to your boss, or you can talk to others. Everybody's going through the same crisis, and people are really willing to help you. And we need to take that help as and when it's required, or as and when necessary. Avoid blaming yourself or anyone else. As I said, every time you blame, the language that you use creates a very, very negative tone. Now, before I end, sir, and ma'am, Chandrima ma'am, there's something very interesting I came across, and I want to share this with all of y'all over here. It's going to take a couple of minutes, just 2-3 minutes more, and but it's very, 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 very important. So this is a poem which was written in 1869, and this was reprinted during 1919 pandemic. The year was 1869 when it was written, and I want you to just pay attention to the words. And people stayed at home and read books and listened, and they rested and did exercises and made art and played and learned new ways of being and stopped and listened more deeply. Someone meditated, someone prayed, someone met their shadow, and people began to think differently, and people healed. And in the absence of people who lived in ignorant ways, dangerous, meaningless, and heartless, the earth also began to heal. And when the danger ended and people found themselves, they grieved for the dead and made new choices and dreamed of new visions and created new ways of living and completely healed the earth just as they were healed. I think this is a beautiful poem, and I think it's absolutely relevant to what we have been talking about today. And I would like to end with this very simple thing.
Amazing.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you so much, Narendra. Thank you so much. I know we are running out of time. We have already 2 minutes over, but there's one question. There are many questions actually. There's one question I think which is bothering all of us. If you can spare a couple of minutes to answer that question, and we should wrap up in next 3-4 minutes. The question is that question is from Shibashish, and he's saying that how to stay focused and motivated towards our goal in this pandemic situation. I think it's bothering many of us. So I thought of asking this question on behalf of Shibashish.
So let me answer for myself. I think you'll learn from that. I'm 59 and a half. I mean, almost what you call as a senile age. Okay. I think how I stayed motivated during this pandemic was I normally work 12 hours a day. I ended up working 16 hours a day. I was getting calls from all over the world. I was managing a lot of stress. Nobody was there to help me. Normally, I have 10 assistants who help me. There was not a single person to help me. And my learning from this whole thing was that what I do is I see a lot of meaning in it. I think what I do is help a lot of people, and this is a time when a lot of people need help. So I don't live for myself. So a lot of clients are saying, we can't afford it, we can't pay you, We don't know whether we'll be able to pay. We lost our job. We lost people in our family. So what I did was, instead of focusing on what's important to me, I started focusing on what's important to everybody else. So I think my way of living was, as I said, I broadened my horizons and I started looking at how can I be of help to other people. Now, this may not be, this is not a, I'm not saying that everybody has to become compassionate or sensitive or only look at other people. But I think what we really need to do is look beyond ourselves. So one of the ways to deal with this situation today is that, I'm struggling, uh, but a lot of people are struggling much more. And somewhere, if I'm empathetic, if I understand the pain of other people, many times my own pain is reduced. Let's be very clear that doctors who are working in ICUs and all, many doctors are going home after 20 hours of day work and they just collapse on the bed and their wives keep on screaming at them. Their children tell them you're risking the family or whatever. And I think the way to deal with this is that, as I just read the poem, that a time will come to heal. And I think instead of looking at this as, I mean, I'm not saying it's not a crisis. Somebody the other day, one of my clients or a patient said, this is like World War III and you don't know who's the enemy. You can't see your enemy. Very true. But you also need to understand that I think human beings have rallied around, and that's the only, a human being can only help another human being. So we need to really focus on forging that, as together we can achieve whatever we set out to achieve. So a boss may pay 50% of the salary, but that's what he can afford to pay. Yeah. So he should not hold back 50% of the salary. And an employee can say, okay, this is the same boss who gave me employment for so many years, even if he's paying 50%, it's okay. A day will come when I'll get a bonus and maybe I'll earn much more. So what I'm trying to say is, don't hold on to the status quo. Don't hold on to that life was like this and life has changed. Yes, it has changed and it is going to change even more. We have to deal with it and we have to accept it. So the key word is acceptance.
Thank you so much. It has made so much meaning to all of us. And the message which I get from you is that loud and clear is that, yes, we are in a difficult situation, no doubt about it. We got to support each other and the show must go on.
Thank you, Chandrima.
Yeah, thank you so much for taking your time out. I know how precious your time is. I know how much you're working for people, supporting a whole lot of people individually, in corporate, in Mumbai police. I know you are really have taken up so much, and you yourself are saying that you're working for 16, 17 hours. But thank you so much, Narendra, for being with us, for being available for us today. Thank you. And we have really learned very meaningful session, and we have all learned a lot from you. I think you have given us the food for thought. You have given us the inspiration to move on and to focus on what we are doing, and the show must go on. With this, I hand over. Thank you so much. With this, I hand over this session to our Vice President, Mr. TVS Shenoy, for a vote of thanks, please.
Yeah, Chandrima, just checking. Can you hear me, Chandrima?
Yes, please. Loud and clear.
Wonderful, Chandrima, and thank you for moderating the session. I think wonderfully moderated. And Narendra, what a master class we have had. As I was listening into
very thankful.
And all the 300 plus people who have heard you, Narendra, and the way I've seen it in the corporate world over the last year and a half, if somebody would have said that, well, you don't have to work, go to office for the next 1.5 years. And incidentally, in the last 1.5 years, I've been to office only twice, just because my laptops had crashed and I had to get it repaired. We had to go through such a change. And let me also articulate, Narendra, the few pointers which you said. Just being grateful for where we are, and just having a sense of gratitude. I say that in many sessions, and as you said, the way the doctors are fighting. My own sister, she's a doc and in charge of a very big hospital in Bangalore, and I know what the pains they're going through in managing the oxygen cylinders, the stress that one has to go through, 2-hour longevity of the cylinders, tremendous amount of stress. And where we are today and cocoon in the comfort of our homes, I think first of all, we all need to learn to be grateful and full of gratitude. life is something which we all are here for, and we need to be grateful and thankful for that. Narendra, I think you brought up great pointers towards why we have to have gratitude in life. The other points which you mentioned, as I was pondering over, incidentally, you mentioned the book Ikigai, and this is one thing which I have with me, and you'll be surprised. I got a big shelf behind me full of books, and for all the people here who are in different parts of their career, students correcting in, have a passion to chase, and chase a passion beyond work. It can be photography for me, it can be book reading for you, and sessions like this with Narendra. I think its value, its weight in gold, and such books are wonderful inspirations to keep one motivated and have a sense of calmness around you. I would also recommend to all of the people another book called Taming Your Gremlin. It's a book by Rick Carlson. It's an excellent book which helps to calm the mind and address and react to situations. Well, you also mentioned, Narendra, ask the right questions. And many a time, and I come from the experience of over almost 3 decades in the corporate, you so much of it plays in your mind when you are not so sure of yourself. And actually, end of the day, the question we need to ask is, all know the way, but very few actually walk it. I think it is a wonderful way to end the quote, Narendra. And you mentioned about a quote of almost 100 years ago. I think that is a beautiful quote. I'll perhaps leave you all with a very favorite quote of mine of Mirza Ghalib, and is a Hindi quote. And I've said this in many occasions, and for all the Bengalis who connected here, it goes like this: Zindagi bhar Ghalib, yahi bhool karta raha. Zindagi bhar Ghalib, yahi bhool karta raha. धूल चेहरे पे थी पर आईना साफ करता रहा. I think for all those who have heard it, it means that all your life you have been looking at the mirror and cleaning the mirror, whereas the dust was actually on the face. It is something like this: look upon yourself, ask the right questions, and introspect. Be grateful, and I'm sure that you'll thoroughly enjoy this life. And I just pick up a quote from the Japanese proverb of Ikigai. It says, "Only staying active will make you want to live 100 years." Narendra, you have made us live or want us to live 100 years. Thank you very much. Thank you from the Calcutta Management Association. I'm sure that we'll have many more sessions ahead. And for all of those who want to join in, please welcome. Please do connect with our secretariat, and be grateful for all of you to join in. Thank you, Chandrima, for coordinating it. Thank you, Anirban, for arranging it. And look forward to many more sessions, Narendra. Thank you, and a big thank you again from the Calcutta Management Association. With that, we can sign off and have a good night.
Dr. Kanga, fantastic. I mean, thank you very much.
Sir, very kind of you.
और वहाँ पे, in fact, I'll connect with you because we can plan some other things as well. But thank you very much. If you are free, just give me a call anytime tonight before we go. Okay? So thank you very much, and thank you very much.
Pleasure. Thank you, sir.